doing a bit of a 180, going from veganism to carnivorism.
Mm.
And before I saw any of your tweets, I'd been noticing on YouTube just more and more videos of people talking about the carnivore diet. I think I saw the author Jordan Peterson even
Yes.
on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about how he'd had these huge benefits from switching
Mm.
to a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So I see this guy called Carnivore MD
Oh, yeah. Paul
out in
Saladino.
Costa Rica. He's constantly got his shirt off,
Yeah.
throwing things all over the place. It's quite interesting. I watch him. I find his videos funny, but
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm suspicious of
Mm.
how healthy it is, and obviously, I
Yeah.
wanted to get your take on that.
Mm.
I mean, I think part of it is because if you switch to an entirely carnivore diet or mainly
Mm.
carnivore diet, and you supplementing as that carnivore MD does with some fruit as well,
Mm.
then obviously you're not having any processed sugars, which is going to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
immediately. And there's a lot of other crap you're not taking in, which is going to
Yeah.
help. So maybe they're mistaking the fact that's helping them with a long-term diet that's going to sustain their health. Because I'm sure
Mm.
anyone who sticks on that diet long term is not going to be healthy. What's your take on it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I just think in the long term, people are going to run into problems. We're seeing well-established data out there on the benefits of fiber. For example, fiber is only found in plant foods, and the different strains of fiber that you get, benefit the bacteria that's in your gut that produce metabolites such as butyrate, which is a short-chain fatty acid, which has huge downstream effects in terms of prevention of type 2 diabetes, anti-cancer effects, etc., etc. And as you say, ultimately, the carnivore diet at its core is just a really radical elimination diet. So is it the fact that you're eating all of this meat, or is it the fact that you've removed the processed sugars, you've removed the inflammatory foods that are causing you problems? And I can accept and acknowledge that people have had success on it in terms of elimination of autoimmune conditions or management of autoimmune conditions. I know Jordan Peterson and his daughter Michaela Peterson have spoken about this. But what does that look like long term? Because we've seen, if we look at diseases like colon cancer, for example, it's linked to excess consumption of red and processed meat. Now, is a certain influencer promoting this going to be there for you if you unfortunately get diagnosed with, a gut problem such as that? So, we have to be really careful with these people. And, Paul Saladino, he's got his supplement business. He's obviously very financially motivated, people like Sean Baker as well. So, I just think, and the issue with the carnivore approach and what these people kind of, when they're bashing the vegan diet, they look to criticize like the vegan processed meats. They go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and they say, "Oh, veganism is bad," and then they start reeling off, the refined grains, refined carbohydrates, fake meats. That's not a healthy vegan diet objectively, and anyone can see that. I'm always wanting to look at things from a perspective of eating whole grains, eating legumes, eating fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and fungi and mushrooms. That's a healthy way to live. That's a healthy way to eat in the long term. That's just seen across the board. So it'll be very interesting to see in sort of 10, 20, 30 years where this carnivore diet goes and how people respond to it essentially.
I predict the way of many other fad diets, it won't be around. It's just
Yeah.
like what did we used to hear around just after the year 2000 about the Atkins diet that
Mm-hmm.
got popular. I
Yeah.
remember I was working in a pub somewhere, and nobody wanted their burgers in a bun, and
Yeah.
it's just it is, and it what bothers me, apart from the fact, obviously, I don't think it's particularly healthy, is that people are so dumb. They keep falling for gimmicks all the
Yeah.
time. Somebody comes up with a gimmick and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be the answer. This is going to save me. I see it in the personal development world as well, not just
Mm.
diets. Somebody comes up with a faddy course or a new idea for a book, and it's
Yeah.
just some of them are just gimmicks. And my message out there to my viewers is do not fall for gimmicks just
Yeah.
because somebody's got these appealing videos or
Mm.
zany personality or
Yeah.
promoting something really different doesn't do some research into it, basically.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
just
You have
don't
to. You
just
have to.
be fooled by it.
Yeah. It requires discernment. It's all about you have to just really analyze what's going on here. Like Carnivore MD, like what is his upset? Saying things like vegetables are toxic is just bemusing. And I think that's very interesting because I was reading a little while back and kind of understanding where they come from that. So they say, oh, vegetables are toxic because they release these defense mechanisms. Now that is true, but in the wild, let's say dark leafy greens or berries, they elicit this phytochemical response, which puts off like insects and pests and protects them from the environment. That's got nothing to do with humans. You know, we're humans, and phytochemicals have been proven to have countless benefits. The phytochemicals in berries have been shown countless times to improve cognitive function. Same with dark leafy greens. So they kind of extrapolate what are called like mechanisms, and you can find a mechanism for anything. You can take one small single ingredient and find like a rat study which shows how bad it is, and then extrapolate that to humans. But first of all, we're humans, and secondly, you don't look at we don't eat single ingredients. We eat the whole foods, and then what's actually more important is looking at long-term health outcomes, human health outcomes, and not what happens to a rat in a lab. So it's very interesting, and it's something that people just need to just be mindful of.